On this episode of Task Force Geek, I will mispronounce the word Cthulhu many times because we have 4 creators from the Cthulhu vs. Wonderland graphic novel currently available on Kickstarter, and that's all coming up now. Welcome to Task Force Geek. My name is Dirk Cooper, and today I am joined by 4 guests, 3 of whom are here already. And the first guest is Phillip. Help me out with your last name.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, you got him right on point.
Wow. I will probably say it differently the next time I say it.
That's okay. I've been called butt horse, butternuts, and there was one recent I not think of. So, it's okay that you mispronounce it, but you actually got it right, so thank you.
I have to say I kind of like butternuts.
You know what? That grew on me. Maybe like when I was a freshman in high school, I was like, why? I'm sorry. But now I'm like, it is what it is.
It is. You got to own it. You got to own it.
Yes.
All right. Up next, we also have Warren.
Hello. Pleasure to
be
Warren.
Here. Warren is an artist. He's the rare artist on these comic confab things. Yes, I am excited to talk to a fellow artist. I think that's awesome. And also today we have Travis.
Hey,
Travis. I'm right. You're the guy who's running the whole gig here, aren't you?
That is what they tell me. I just kind of wing it, and people seem to follow the lead. I must talk very authoritative, so they're like, "Oh, let's follow that guy." But I just wing it.
Well, we're happy to have you. We also are looking to have Stoney Williams, hopefully very soon. He says he's running a little bit behind, and I'm hoping we'll get him. Before we get started here, I got to do a little housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
All right. First off, what I want to say is we're looking for guests for Task Force Geek. You can see who's coming up next. Tonight we have the Cthulhu Invades Wonderland crew. Next week we have Cat Pride and Chris Bays with Genesis Avalon. It's an audio project. They're doing like, the 50s audio things. It's fiction. It's pretty cool. We also have Scott Sackett coming up the next week after that. And he is a fellow Oklahoman, and he did 4 issues of a comic called Heaven's Rejects, which is really cool. And we'll talk to him. And we got another couple people, but we have April 26th open, folks. If you're interested, get in there. One other thing I want to put up here is that our store is open. It's at taskforce-geek.creator-spring.com. I handed that thing over to Walt and Steve last week. So I don't know what they're going to come up with. They're both graphic designers. They're both capable of doing illustrations, and they're both part of the show. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with. All right, now it is time for our feature presentation. Well, I just talked about these guys, and they're already chiming in. There's Walt. He says, "Hey, gang," and there's Steve. He says, "Hey, folks." I appreciate you guys chiming in there. Those are the 2 guys that are going to be working on T-shirts, and they're going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm hands off, so who knows what the heck they're going to do on there. All right, tonight we're going to talk about Lovecraft meets Wonderland in this amazing anthology packed with superstar creators from Scout, SourcePoint, Mad Cave, and more. Cthulhu Invades Wonderland is a 200-plus page full-color graphic novel comic in standard American comic size on high-gloss paper. My plan originally was to say, hey, let's get them over their goal, but right before the show, you guys went over your goal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's got to be pretty exciting. What do you think about hitting your goal? You got 2 weeks left.
I'll let these guys respond, and then I'll respond. The big one.
Great, yeah.
It's very exciting. This is the first
campaign where I have sequentials in, and it's for me. It's just I'm happy we hit goal. I know in the crowdfunding world though, it's not over till it's over. We still have 16 days left, so there's still plenty of work, plenty of promoting to go on. But I'm very happy, and I want to thank all the people who pledged the deal. It helps out a lot of people. It's awesome. Thank you very much.
It sure does. Yeah, I mean that's something that's really cool. Is that it's not just a couple of people. I mean, how many people are involved in this total?
It's over 70.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
70 creators.
Yep.
So yeah, you are putting 70 creators in the published column, which is pretty cool.
No, it's a bit. Would you got something to say, Phil, before I go nuts?
No, I mean it's incredible to see, right? I've been part of a few anthologies. I think this is so far the highest funding anthology I've been part of. Where I think we're over 30,300.
It's 30,449 right now.
Wow. Okay. So I say let's go for 50,000.
Yeah.
All right.
Heck yeah. I'm all for it. Travis, tell us what you think about this and tell us about the project in general.
Well, so first off, let's talk about we'll talk about the project in general, and then I'll tell you all the cool things that's happened now that we're funded.
Great, yeah, great.
But we'll announce right here because I don't communicate with people like I just wing it. People just need to understand I don't know what I'm doing. I just get really lucky consistently. So first off, if you're on here, please watch the other video that we did because we did Cthulhu Invades Oz in 2020 with Dirk. So first off, I want to talk about that. So watch that video. It was good. We had a good time.
I had a blast.
So first I want to thank you for having us back on because we haven't talked since then.
It's true.
I have been distant.
And you're always welcome.
Right. I only come when I need something, and
that's okay. I'm down with that. Would someone share the link with Stoney? He didn't
Stoney,
get the link.
It's in our group. Just go to the group, but I can send it to you as well. But it's in our group. We have a production group that has all this stuff.
Sure.
What Cthulhu Invades Wonderland is, it's a sequel to Cthulhu Invades Oz. So this is a direct sequel to that book. Now,
so they're connected.
They are absolutely connected. Yeah,
cool.
They are connected. Now, it'll be lightly connected because we don't want to devalue either fan base, right?
Sure.
If you're reading Wonderland and you see a bunch of Oz characters, you're not going to be very happy. But there is Easter eggs, right, if you're doing it. And there is a continuing story that goes through there. And just like Cthulhu Invades Oz, it's a continuing story from beginning, middle, and end. So there's a full story. So we did 164 pages for the first one. This is over 200 pages for the second one. So it's quite a bigger task with lots of creator stuff. So it's a monster, but it's a good monster, right? It's like my pet monster. So he's friendly, he's nice. Yeah, yes, he does come with the handcuffs, but you can take him off and just hug him. It's fine. But yeah, so that's the overview of the project. 70 creators, 34 stories. Do you got everything you need there, Dirk?
I do. Let me add Stoney in there. How you doing, Stoney?
Hey guys, you hear me okay?
We can. You're good.
Awesome, thank you.
It's Beard Night. It's Beard Night on Task Force Geek. Only beards
Beard
allowed.
Night every time I show up.
I know it is. You're damn right. You're damn right, Stoney. All right, Travis. Let's go back to you, man.
All right. So now that we know what it is, we just hit our funding goal, which is awesome for me and the team because that unlocks three things. One, it is the official announcement of Cthulhu Invades Neverland. So now that we're funded, we're going to do another one because as long as we keep funding, I'll keep going.
You bet.
Cthulhu Invades Neverland will start production. I have a whole strategy for that I'll have to talk to my team about and explain that to them, but that'll be happening. Very cool. So get excited about that. That'll be the next one after this. So I love to talk about that. We're so excited to do it at Orange Cone. So that'll be our 2023 project in the Cthulhu Invades. We're also, you know what? Why don't we just add 2 more stories, Dirk? I think I don't think 34 is enough. I think our first stretch goal should be, I don't know, $2,500. So 3,200 Right. $32,500.
All right.
We'll go ahead and add 2 stories. Let's add David Byrne from the publisher from Scout. He does a good book called Stake. Why don't we get a 2-page card story from him?
Awesome.
And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a Brian Hawkins. I know Stoney has, right? Stoney, you know who Brian Hawkins is, right?
I've heard a couple of things about Brian. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody know Ignacio? I can't say his name. Igloo? I think it's Igloo, right?
Ignacio, yeah.
Ignacio, great guy, does a Killaroo over in Australia. He's from Brazil. Why don't we get those 2 together? And, Alice has a sister. Why don't we do a story about Alice's sister? I think that would be interesting.
Ah, very cool.
So that's our first stretch goal announcement. So we're going to add 2 more stories because I'm nuts. Why not? With top tier creators, because I think that's cool.
Look, that's awesome. That you're adding I mean, most people add like bookmarks. You're adding stories. That's awesome.
Yeah. Go big or go home.
That's great, man. So what kind of packages or platforms do you have that you're offering on this?
So we have 3 different covers. So we have a hardcover. So it's a beautiful hardcover. It matches the Oz cover by Kyle Willis. We have an Orange Cone exclusive. What that is kind of like a virgin cover, and you can only get it from the Kickstarter from me directly. So those are the only 2 ways to get it. And then the last one is the retail cover, which is the standard. All those also come with digital and audio commentary. So we're going to get everybody together and do some audio commentary. This book has everything from stories, and we do poems too. I don't know if you remember on the first one, Dirk.
I do, yeah.
So it's a beautiful, beautiful put together piece, and we have various pledge levels for whatever you can afford. There's a level that someone can afford. So if you just have to get the digital, you just have to get digital. But if you want a complete crazy box set, with all the covers. Hold on, all right.
Yeah, show it to us.
Flash it on me. So if you want, like, this is the Oz one, obviously.
Oh, that's so cool.
If you want a box set with all the cool covers, So these are some of the covers from Oz. We get the glow in the dark, in the hardcover. We'll put all those together, and we've got some bookmarks, some stickers, some prints, all sorts of beautiful, beautiful things that we put together. Those are in the $200, $300 range, depending on what you're looking for. With these beautiful bookmarks. See, these are the metal bookmarks.
Oh, nice.
And again, there's Cthulhu Invades Oz ones and Cthulhu Invades Wonderland ones. So we're pretty proud of it. And beyond that, if you're an Orange Cone fan, like if you just back Orange Cone projects or missed a couple, we have all those on the add-ons too. So you can get a whole bunch of my work through that. So it's amazing packages, and something can fit your budget. And it's regardless of what level you're going to get a good story and a good package. And one last thing, every 50 backers since the beginning, we've added a free digital comic. So we are currently at 10 digital comics.
That.
We're 1 backer away from another one. And that's not counting. As of tomorrow, I'm going to give you guys Nightwolf, another spoiler. We have Nightwolf coming tomorrow. It's a free digital comic that's going to be given to everybody. And if you back Nightwolf, you get a free awesome print of Nightwolf. Let me even show you that. I can show you that in a minute.
Yeah, great.
Nightwolf riding on the Banshee, which is pretty cool. Or Bandersnatch, sorry. Not the Banshee, Bandersnatch.
We got a comment from Beth. Beth says howdy.
Hi.
Beth is from the show. We sure appreciate her chiming in. And Walt wants to challenge Steve to make a pledge on this thing. Steve,
you can just do that. I challenge Walt to make a pledge. You can just, I didn't know that was a thing.
Steve is known as kind of the Kickstarter guy around here. He likes to help us get stuff over the hump. That's why I was hoping he would help you do that, but you're $500 over it right now.
We're not. Well, Brian Hawkins and David Byrne, I've sent them to work. What if I can't pay them? They'll just be sad. You don't want to let them down.
That's no good at all. Right? That's no good at all.
Don't be like that, Steve. Come on. So this is the print. Let me show you that.
Oh.
So this print
I like it.
Be tomorrow if you back Nightwolf. Nightwolf is a very successful Kickstarter. Been around for quite a bit. I think he's on volume 6. riding He-Man style on the Banshee, on the Bandersnatch,
That's what I
with
was
the
thinking of, yeah.
with what's it called up here?
That is cool AF.
The Jabberwocky up here doing some stuff. So it is a cool image. Highly recommend. So
Who did that?
that was Carlos. I can't think of his last name right now, but I will get it for you.
Great work. Great work.
Yeah. He's the main artist of Nightwolf. One of the things that's very special about this book is when I hire people, a lot of times I'm like, hey, do you guys got an artist that you like? Can we get them as well? So we get people paired up and stuff like that. Like Warren, I loved his art. So I was like, we need to get him, and we got him paired up. But if there's a team that exists and they're doing something that I dig, I try to keep them together. So like you get excited, right? Let's see them do something else. I think that Rob's best writing is in here instead of Nightwolf. Don't tell. Don't tell him.
Oh, you're throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah, I'm throwing some shade.
Walt says that now that he's employed, he's got a new job. He says he can pledge, so he's in.
All right.
Your challenge worked. Let's see.
I'll make sure I do that every Kickstarter. Just randomly come in the comments. Challenge you, Walter, Steve.
I mean, for sure. Let's see if I can do this without crashing my computer. Here is the Kickstarter. I just want people to see what's going on here. You see that they just went over their goal. 549 backers. Look, if you get 100 backers, that's impressive. You got 549. That's awesome. 16 days to go, folks. I'm not going to play that, but you can see they have a video there that you can look at. Whoever did your graphics and stuff for this did a first-class job.
That is not true because I did them. But
well, it looks good to me.
Yeah, everyone here on the panel knows that I have Jerome. Me doing them is a waste of time. Like Jerome should be doing them.
You can. I just want some people to see. I mean, look at all the extra stuff. These are the comics you're talking about, right? The digital comics. Yeah. Look at how many. I mean, look at how many digital comics you get here. How many so far? What is that? 10?
That's 10, and then there's 2 others that are announced in the background that we've done as well.
You're one backer away from getting another one.
Yep.
So I mean, where else are you going to get a deal like that? That's amazing. I like that a lot.
I own Seas for Cthulhu. A friend of mine backed that when it was on Kickstarter, and so it's really cool to see as a freebie on there. It's a very cool book.
Very cool. There's you guys are dropping names here. That's a pretty good lineup of creators there. You can see they work for the big stuff. There's all of the deets. Let's get to some of the artwork. I want to show some before we. What the heck did? Oh, that must have just loaded.
Yeah, no.
It's rotating. Okay.
We're fancy. We spared no expense.
I like it.
The highest of technology, a GIF.
One of the good things about having 70 creators is you get a variety of art styles, and you can see that here. Some of it looks traditional, some of it looks painted, and it's all beautiful. Great colors. I mean, what do you need? One of the things I want to point out here, just to give you some props, you put your money where your mouth is, Travis. You've backed 644 other Kickstarters.
Right.
I want to give you the props for that. You get either a soft cover or hardcover, right?
Correct. Yeah, the 2 soft covers, 1 hardcover. Yep.
So just whatever it is that you prefer, pick your favorite. I love this piece. Is that a cover?
Yeah, that's a cover. That's one of our Virgin cover. Actually, I don't know. Was it you, Stoney, that named it the Pictionary? I don't remember who named it the Pictionary.
I was there the night it happened, but I don't think that was me.
They call that the Pictionary cover. Like, you have to figure out what it is, but you can figure it out with Pictionary. Cthulhu's invading clearly Wonderland.
It kind of the title kind of tells it all, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Not a lot of nothing too esoteric there. That's kind of a Swamp Thing looking Cthulhu.
That's what. So
he does a
night,
painted
too.
piece. He does a unique thing. So if you zoom in, it's really hard to see, but you see the little lines like next to the trees. Those are words. It's done on a
Oh, wow, back here.
Alice in Wonderland. So he did that
Oh.
with Oz and with this one. So he draws it and paints it, hand paints it on the actual mat.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Very
Very
clever.
And I
I
don't
like how
want
he's
to be
got
cheap
the,
too. I say don't buy the $10 Alice in Wonderland. You got to buy the $50 one. I don't want cheap paper here. Like it's got to be as high as you can get.
You've already shown us the box and stuff for this. I just want people to see a few more images and stuff because really, images is, everyone is, graphically inspired. So if you can show them some images, maybe that's awesome right there. Very cool. This is all cool stuff. And I mean, the characters, right?
By the way, Phil, I was in an interview today with Tyler, and Tyler, it was not today. It was yesterday that they loved Humpty Dumpty. They were stoked about
Really?
Humpty Dumpty on Critical Mass. If you go back and play the video, stoked that Humpty Dumpty was in there. Stoked about your portrayal of Humpty Dumpty.
I'll check
I've
that
never
out.
seen anyone excited in my entire life about Humpty Dumpty until that day. So yeah, you have to watch it because it's your moment. That's your 5 minutes of fame.
Oh man, I need to. Where you send me that link? I need. To,
I will.
I need to watch that. Thank you.
Travis, what do you do on that? How do you dole out these different characters? Who gets do people get to choose or
So yeah, it's a complicated process and it's
arm
getting
wrestling?
more complicated as it goes. Yeah, WWE, like you guys were talking about in that area. Whoever can give me the best promo gets it.
There you go.
It normally goes to The Rock, and Stone Cold and Triple H. But
Sure.
now and then a Zack Swagger or a Dolph Ziggler will get some.
You just pulled out Zach Swagger. I like that a lot.
Yeah. A Buff Bagwell or
Oh my God, Buff Bagwell.
You want me to go back?
That's one of my favorites. Holy, that's deep.
So it's different every time. So for Oz, I handpicked people, and they kind of gave me pitches for the thing. For Wonderland, I said what characters were available, and people pitched for characters.
They gave you a story idea.
Correct. Yeah. And then for Neverland, there's only like 13 characters, so we're gonna have a whole different process about what that looks like. So we're gonna work through that and what we need to do. So that there's some stuff. So I can kind of spoil it just for somebody who wants
Boss Man.
Big Boss Man. Yeah, Big Boss Man's not a very good presenter. He probably would be cut.
He's not so great. He needs a valet.
Yeah. He'd be like the after credits, right? Like he's there, like
Yeah.
But, so what we're gonna do is for the next one, we're gonna reach out to some pros because as I've grown as a creator, I've started to meet some pros. So I'm gonna ask some pros to see if they're interested in coming. Stoney's like me. So we're gonna have some pros, and then we're gonna have the Orange Cone team pick one returning person. So that's gonna be pick that one returning person, and then after the Orange Cone team and all those are signed up, whatever characters are left, we're gonna bring it to the two groups, and stuff, and that allows us. We're hoping that this allows us to get a few new people in the book, as well as allow some old favorites, and trying to keep it as unbiased as possible. But it's a lot. The positive is, I'll always take a pitch from someone if they have an idea that like doesn't take a character, right? So someone pitched me, oh, I want to do Peter Pan Shadow. Oh, that's interesting. That's not a character that I gave credit to.
Yeah.
That's something that could possibly happen and very fits Cthulhu Invades Neverland. So there's going to be opportunities, and we'll make opportunities for people, but it's going to be a smaller book because it's a smaller cast.
Yeah. Was this? I mean, this is pretty fast. Was it fast? Did it fund faster than the last one?
Oh yeah. So the last one I think we got. I think it was like a week, right, Stoney?
Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
Yeah, we got like a week, like 5 days to do it, and I mean, just to give you an idea, it was 24,000 total. So we've raised an extra 6,000 with 15 days to spare, with 16 days to spare, and we're just getting to the good stuff. We've got so many cool things coming out, so many ideas of what we're doing. So, and we had early support. I mean, we were close to 20,000 on day one or two. You know, we this last little chunk of the last 10 was tough, but the first 20 was, not to say easy, because nothing easy.
It's never easy.
Not as hard as expected.
I'm not sure, but I mean, do they get in contact? Does Kickstarter get in contact with people who have bid on your stuff previously and say, hey, if you liked this, you're going to like this?
Yeah. If you backed my stuff, you get an email that says that. I also have captured your email and got an email list. So yeah, we get the message out there.
So it helps. You know, the more you do this, I mean, I don't want to use the word easy because I know it's not. I know that you guys have been showing up on a couple of podcasts a night, and that you've been pushing it, and that you're still not done. I mean, you got 2 weeks of pushing this thing still. But, you know, once you kind of have a built-in audience, you know, getting past that first $20,000 is easier this time than it was last time, right?
Right.
And that's also one of the benefits of being on Kickstarter, as opposed to let's say that you were printing traditionally, you go through Diamond Comics, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't get a customer list from soliciting to Diamond Comics. They have the customer list. Actually, they don't even have the customer list. All they have are the stores. So you have direct communication with the people who pick up your book. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think the universal draw on this idea is?
I'll let somebody else answer. I've been talking a lot.
I would say, you know, it's Cthulhu. And I know Lovecraft, the person, the author, he does have a checkered past, especially with the world we live in today. But it's the monsters and just the evolution of the image of Cthulhu. I mean, why I can't believe no one's thought about putting Cthulhu, I almost said Travis in Wonderland. I'm surprised no one's put Cthulhu in Wonderland or Oz before. So, you know, Travis has hit he found the goal at the end of the rainbow with this.
Right. It almost seems like so obvious. After it's done, it seems so obvious.
Yeah, well, both of these books that we've done, Oz and Wonderland, both have those dual built-in fan bases, right? You love Cthulhu or Oz or Wonderland, so it'll draw from those three places. And then Travis has had this brilliant idea to bring, you know, heavy hitters from all across indie comics to this, and they bring their own fan bases.
Sure.
And everybody's working together to get the word out, and so there's just lots of different places to pull from, lots of different appeal in lots of different directions. So it's kind of a perfect storm that Travis has come up with. But I do like the idea of doing Travis Invades books.
That's the finale. That's the last scene, right?
There you go.
Grant Morrison did it. Stephen King did it. From his books, we're going to put Travis in the last scene of the last book he does.
I think this is the killer app.
Yeah. Donny Cates just did it with crossover. I mean, it seems to be the thing. You know, if you got to get to the ego part. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you for backing the sport.
Hello,
We are
jury.
at 550 pledgers now at $30,649.
Steve pledged. Steve pledged.
Steve.
So let's go back to the tote board, as they say.
We're gonna have to figure out what the next digital is.
Yep, you're over 30,600 now, and you have 550 backers.
Right? Yeah, we're gonna have to do that.
So it just keeps rolling along here. All right. The next portion of this thing, and I want to make sure that everyone knows. I've put it up here several times, but let's just say we're talking tonight with the Cthulhu Invades Wonderland crew. This is 4 of the creators right here that we have. I invite you to ask any questions that you have to these 4 creators, please. And if you're interested, it's not hard to find. Just go to Kickstarter and type in Cthulhu. There's only a couple things out there right now, but there's the direct address for that if you want to write all that silliness
easy one
down.
for you, Dirk, that I didn't give you. If you just go to CthulhuInvades.com. Cthulhu
Oh
Invades.
my gosh.
Yep. You don't have to do the whole thing. CthulhuInvades.com is the easiest way to get there. You don't have to type in all that stuff. But if you do, search Cthulhu and you see Cthulhu is hard to spell, go ahead and back that one too, because you get that free dope bookmark.
There you go. Awesome. Look at that. We got an updated address there. So much better. So much better. People need to do that more often.
I try to teach that when people talk to me and ask me for advice. That's the first thing I say. Hey, do you get $10? Let's
just get exactly. Get a URL, route it to that thing. You're done. That's a good deal. All right. Again, I'm going to ask the four of you, if you have other questions for the creators, for each other, then feel free to chime in. But I was given a list of 4 people. I'm going to go by the order of the list that I was given. So the first person that I'm going to give an individual interview tonight is to Stoney. How you doing, Stoney?
Pretty good. How are you, Dirk?
I'm doing good. I'm going to embarrass you here right off the bat, because
right.
Stoney's been on here many times. Maybe not embarrass you. Wait a minute. What does Steve say? All I needed to put me over was the holographic stuff. I guess he likes the holographic stuff.
He likes those metal bookmarks. All right, I feel you.
There you go. He got the good stuff. All right, so look, Stoney was on one of the earlier episodes of Task Force Geek, and he is a fellow Oklahoman, as I am, and we keep up with each other, even if he's not on here all the time. So what I want to do is show a little artwork that Stoney did. We did it. We did a few jam pieces here. So let me see if I can find that. The first one is this one right here. I did the pencils and inks for this, and Stoney did the coloring.
I was happy with the way that came out.
Hey, Stoney, how come I don't get that coloring when I ask you to color my stuff?
Right?
Wow.
What are you doing?
I'll have to send you some of my recent stuff. Like I've leveled up a little, I think.
Let's talk.
Yeah, right.
That's that was a commission piece of the Question, who's a character that I get a kick out of. And Stoney saw that on Facebook, and he goes, "Hey, would you send that to me? I want to play with that." It's like, okay, cool. Most of the time when I do black and white stuff, people don't, it doesn't get colored. So it's awesome to see that. That's the Sylvie character from Loki. I did a piece on that, and there is Stoney's colors on that. And then I did, this is an old piece here that I did actually a couple of years ago, and he gave me the kind of the Andy Warhol effect there.
He posted that. I said, "You got to send that to me. I'm gonna do some weird shit."
He did, as advertised. There it is.
Yeah, that was fun.
Thank you, Stoney.
I mean, not bad for a writer, I guess.
Yeah, not bad. Good job, man. Steve says he loves that image. So stinking cool. Thank you, man. All right, so it's been a while since we've had you on the show, Stoney. Since the last time you were here, all 4 issues of Villainous were published, and you have a trade paperback. How does that feel?
Pretty good. Most days. We did get Volume 2 started, and unfortunately we had to cancel it due to the paper shortage, which I was pretty bummed out about.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah. But it is very cool to see, I was Googling myself just the other day. So it was a job application I was doing. They wanted writing samples. And so I was Googling myself to see all the different things that come up now for me. And this was very cool to see my book on, target.com and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Wild. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And I mean, you have a complete thing out there. Mm-hmm. It's a complete story. You got a good publisher with it. I mean, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and I made some incredible relationships through that, and
sure.
The team on the book I keep up with, and we support each other still. Just like a year and a half later after the book's come out, it's been a wild ride, but I'm really really glad I did it, and I'm very proud of it.
You do both writing and art. Do you have a favorite?
It uses 2 different parts of my brain. And
yeah.
I know that when I hit a wall with one, I tend to switch to the other for a little while, even if it's just goofing around one direction or the other, because like I said, it uses different parts of my brain. And so if I get stuck with one, I'll switch to the other for a little while, and then usually that helps me work out whatever wall I've hit, so I can switch back. So.
Does coloring? They do adult coloring books, right? Does doing color like that, is it relaxing to you or is it stressful?
No, it's really relaxing. I can usually will put on some music or sometimes a TV show in the background and just kind of zone out.
Yeah.
And I can get lost for a long time in it that way, more so than when I write. I'll quit coloring and realize that I haven't peed in hours and I might explode.
Yeah.
So, but
you can lose track of time for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah,
something about doing art does make you lose track of time. Yeah. So, some scientists can tell us what's going on there. Walt says that he pledged. He's in there.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Walt.
So there you go.
Love Walt.
See, just challenging. Challenging works, folks.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your Cthulhu versus Wonderland story.
Oh, so I took the Walrus and the Carpenter, and it's kind of a update on where they are and how they're handling Cthulhu invading their universe. It's set outside the rest of the story, just like the original poem was. And I tried to meet that stanza for stanza, line for line, which was a lot of fun to do kind of a poem inside of a comic script and make both of them work together at the same time. And the artist, Ben Humanic, was brilliant from the word go. He was so helpful. He's actually a poetry teacher himself.
Oh,
so
wow.
That helped to bounce ideas off of him and stuff. And his artwork was phenomenal. He had 2 different styles he wanted me to look at and ideas for, and we settled on one, and it was just exactly what I had in my brain when I was coming up with this stuff. So it's wonderful. Probably one of the pieces I'm most proud of everything I've done so far. I really love this, and I am so excited to get it in front of people.
How many pages is it?
8, I believe.
8 pages. What are you working on right now, Stoney?
Right now, I am promoting Cthulhu Invades.
Of course.
I'm working on a script for a holiday book.
Interesting.
I'm working on a script for Big Hype 2, which was from Doug
Wood,
who I believe you also know.
Yes, friend of the show, Doug Wood. Yeah. Comic magnate, Doug Wood.
Mm-hmm. And I've got a couple of coloring gigs that I've picked up the last month that I'm finished with, and we're waiting to see if it gets picked up by somebody else. So.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. What would you like to do that you haven't done yet?
Pro wrestling. I think,
yeah.
No, that'd be awful. Anything really. Like I want to do more of it. I've got so many ideas and so many people I'd like to work with, and so many names I'd like to see mine next to. I could spend all night telling you about the things I want to do. So.
All right. Well, the future is bright. That's awesome, man. It's good to have you back on the show, Stoney.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Phillip, you're up next, man. The spotlight's on you.
Hey.
How did you get into? Before we get started, let me also say, because this is the first time you've been on here, you've done the anthologies. Cthulhu is hard to spell. It certainly is.
No, I haven't done that one.
Oh, okay.
I did Nightmare Theater Volume 1 and 2.
Okay.
What else have I done? I'm terrible. Oh, Not So Fairy Tales, which was a satire on fairy tales. And I've done a few other anthologies, but Travis gave me the opportunity to tell my story about Humpty Dumpty as a dad.
Tell me, that's interesting. How did you get into writing comics?
Oh, it all started 2011. I graduated college, and it's hard to get a job, and I became a waiter. So me and my buddy created a group called the Luminerdi, and we decided, hey, we want to bring people to a blog post. Why don't we create stories and also try to tell comic news? And for some reason, we decided we're gonna be like the next Brian K. Vaughan. We're gonna try to write 60 issue story. That was before we really knew what anthologies were. Fast forward 10 years, I was like, I gotta get into anthologies, and I've been writing this anthology Momentum since 2020.
Walt, I got to step out here. Walt made a comment on our last deal here. He says, "My man, I can picture the bearded bard walking down to the ramp to the ring with a techno classical music mashup."
That's awful. That sounds terrible.
That's all. He says, and no.
So have you not done backyard wrestling at all?
No. I'm anti-athletic.
I did a little backyard wrestling about 20 years ago, folks.
I did backyard wrestling as well.
Interesting.
So the only wrestling I did was we had tire swings at our elementary school. So every day around 4 o'clock, we'd have like the kids from the middle school and high school come down, and then you had the kids from the elementary just get beat up. And it was like in a large tire. So there was like picture. Oh my god, I don't know how you picture like the wooden playgrounds, and they have like 15 tires lined up, and we did like a Royal Rumble bout. Like anyone who got
I had like half a second in middle school that I wanted to be athletic. I wanted to join the football team.
Right.
They told me I was too small. If you can believe that. Now,
wow.
I was too
See?
small for football. I could get myself hurt. So
They said
I just gave up.
my parents told me
only
if I didn't start to eat, I would dry up and blow away. Boy did I teach them.
Stoney, if you really think about it, on Earth 2, you're somewhere playing like in the
Earth
NFL.
2.
Exactly right. There's a multiverse version.
Everything is about the multiverse now.
Mm-hmm.
You have a great collection of work, Phillip. What are some of your favorites, and what should we be checking out?
My Nightmare Theater, which I did with artist Don Cardenas, who I did with also Nightmare Theater 2 anthology, as well as this story with Humpty Dumpty. I just love telling stories about fathers and sons.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your wheelhouse.
Yeah, but that's been my wheelhouse these last few years. I have a 4-year-old son who's inspired all my stories.
Hey, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And my next, I have coming out in the next few months, I'm part of a Florida Man anthology.
Okay, yeah.
And I tell a story about the King Florida man of this neighborhood is trying to pass his crown onto his son. His son's like, no, I'm going to college. I don't want to do this. And then when Florida Man, when his son moves away, I guess his competition tries to come into his neighborhood, and his son realizes I need to be by my father's side. So that's going to be an anthology in the next few months.
Nice. Tell us a little bit more about your story for Cthulhu Invades Wonderland.
So in my story, Humpty Dumpty is a widow. He's also a workaholic. And during the
Inspired by his son.
Of course he is.
Weird.
yeah. And it is inspired because now that I work remote, it's really tough to walk away from that laptop. So there were nights where I tell my son, "Hey, buddy, I'm gonna put you to bed. Can't play with you. I'm sorry." So, and
Yeah.
this is even before tonight when he was going to bed. He was telling my wife, like, "Does Daddy have to work all night?" And I was working right before I hopped on here.
Oh.
So that it is heavily inspired by my
Yeah.
son. I am not a widow. My wife is in the other room, and in the
And
story,
puts up with all this.
in the story, Humpty Dumpty's son dies in the war.
Wow.
Because his egg breaks and the yolk comes out, and that's the same thing that happened to his wife. His wife, her egg broke and the yolk came. So
Right.
his entire time, he decides, even before his son dies, he's trying to solve the issue of the curse of the egg yolk. Like, how can I stop eggs from breaking? And he ends up becoming a weapon for the eggs army.
Wow. That's good stuff. And what is it that you have coming up next again?
I have the Florida Man anthology
Right.
and the Stupid Kids anthology as well.
Man, you like the anthologies.
Yes, I actually created a group on Facebook. Is how I believe I ended up linking up with Travis. It's called the Comic Book Anthology Creators Group, where
Wow.
we try to bring open submissions to creators of all levels, newbies, people who've been here for several years.
Is that open to everyone?
Yeah,
What's that's the name of it? The comic
Yeah.
book?
yeah. Let me. I'll get you the exact. It's called Comic Book Anthology Creators on Facebook.
I'm writing that down right now.
By the way, Philip,
I'm joining tomorrow.
I gave Dirk some information about you, and looking at it now, it's all wrong. So
No, it's okay.
I'm just telling you.
Wait, what credits did you give me? Because I'll use them.
I gave you credit for Cthulhu's Hard to Spell, which
Hard to Spell and Never Ever After.
Never ever after is what I thought the Peter Pan one
okay.
was called. So that's
That's right. I did forget. I did tell a story about Hook's origin, and the story is that he was Peter Pan before there was the Peter Pan that we know.
Oh.
See, I'm not completely wrong.
Good. One day I'll get into one of Russell's anthologies. One day.
There you go. I'm very interested in the
Anthologies
Facebook.
anymore, Phil.
No more?
No, Are you
cutting him off?
Move on. I have to move on to one shots a minute.
That's enough.
One day I'll do it.
But Phil's in Nightmare Theater. That's a high caliber stuff in there. Come on now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I told a story about Lobby. It was this kid who refuses to eat, and after being yelled at by his parents, he starts eating everything and becomes a monster and starts destroying his neighborhood.
Cool. Yeah, that's
and
good
then
stuff.
in volume 2, I told a story about a kid who got a present from his grandmother, never said a thank you card, and she haunts him from the grave and is determined to get a thank you card from him.
All right. Very cool, man. All right,
call my
Warren.
grandma.
Yeah, no kidding. Thanks for making us all feel bad. All right, Warren, you're up next. Comic book. Let's see if this. Let me see if I got the correct information because I think I grabbed this. Comic book artist and creator of The Adventures of Sig and Joe on Webtoon.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yeah, right now it's on a I started off on Webtoon. Right now I'm a bit on a hiatus because I learned a lot about Webtoon, but I'm redoing some issues. I got issue 1 done, and I'm just right now penciling my issue 2. So that one's going to be going hopefully full steam ahead by the end of the year. So yeah, right now I'm working for to get ready to go to my first convention, which hopefully I'll start going to conventions next year.
Oh wow, you've never been to a comic convention?
No, I am brand new.
Oh my gosh.
New artists smell the whole.
Oh, you're going to love the convention.
Yeah, I haven't had a table at a convention. I've only been there as a guest.
Right.
This is the first published sequentials I've had. You know, I've got my own ish story, but this is the first time I was published, and yeah, so this is all brand new to me. All this stuff. It's real exciting.
That's awesome. Hey, I had a question for you that I put to you earlier before the show. I'll see if you have an answer. Why is it that it's always the writers that show up to promote these things, and you so rarely get the artists?
Well, when the writer has everything all set up and sends it to the artist, well, it's the artist that's got all the manual labor stuff on, get the pencils, inks, along those lines. So now the writer has to go into the next job, which is the promotion, because usually while the artist is working away getting the art done, it's the writer's going to go out there doing the promotion. And the short time I've been in this, I've realized that I don't think there's any part of making a comic book that's less important or easier than any other part. It's like every part
certainly
requires a mastery level of commitment and learning. Like, you just can't just go do PR. You just can't go and write a script. It's like everything requires studying, work, and it's insane the amount of knowledge you have to try to retain if you're trying to do all of it.
For sure. Tell us about The Adventures of Sig and Joe.
It's a sci-fi story that comes from it's kind of a Aqua Teen Hunger Force meets Firefly. It's all my inspirations from the 80s and 90s action movies and fourth wall breaking. When I decided I was going to do comics, I needed to get myself working. I'm more of a hands-on learner, so I just put everything into these 2 characters I created when I was at diesel mechanic school in college, and just started making a story around them. And before I knew it, it's now turned into like this whole little space epic that I've been working on. And since I started, I've grown so much of an artist, and it's been a blast to work on. But yeah, it's a story about family though, and humor, sci-fi, and evil corporation fight. The little guy fighting up first, guys fighting for the little guy. still working on the promotion part here.
Walt says Aqua Teen. Yeah, you got to get your elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force meets Firefly. I'm sold. He's into it. It's on. You say it's on Webtoon right now?
Right now, if you go to my link tree, which is at Lunchbox Comics, you'll find a link on there. If you put in Lunchbox Warren into Instagram or Facebook, some of my stuff will probably pop up on there, and you can find out through there. You'll be able to find the link to a free download for the first issue. So the first issue is on there for free download.
What's your impression of Webtoon? I don't get a lot of people who work on that on here.
It's an interesting platform, but there's certain rules that you have to follow through. They expect a very tidy release date. They want at least one chapter per week. That's
a lot.
Yes. Each chapter could be 50 some panels. They go by panels, but I was doing 12 to 15 pages of content for one chapter in Webtoons. It's like essentially half an issue.
Yeah.
And I realized that if you really want to get big on there, you need to have your work done beforehand and give yourself a nice window. So then that way, if I was going to do it, if I'm going to do it again, essentially I'm going to have the entire first arc done on my
before you launch.
Before I launch on Webtoons again. I'm going to have a website hopefully here in the next couple months started. Me and my business partner are trying to build one. And then I'll have more of a place to direct people. And then I hope that when I do redo the Webtoon launch, I'll be able to do a consistent weekly at least launch all the way through. But they like having their stuff formatted. You just can't put page on top of page. You have to separate each panel and put it in the way they like it in their format.
It's a vertical format, so for people who don't know, so you can scroll on your phone. So it's kind of, but it's also kind of a different, way to consume comics. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a huge audience of people who are there is a certain meta on Webtoons, but at the same time, I still, in the short time I did it, and I had a kind of rocky launch and a rocky release, I still gained 55 subscribers on there, and they were active subscribers. They were talking and comments, and they like meeting with the creator, because sometimes I've noticed you can have a real separation from yourself and your audience. There's not always a lot of like back and forth feedback on, in Webtoons. It's like they're talking to you all the time with their comments and their favorite character and their story.
The comment pages are insane. I mean, they have like hundreds of comments for every issue.
Yes.
Which is pretty nuts. I like Webtoon. It's something different. I didn't realize you had to come out with an issue every week, though. That sounds backbreaking.
You don't have to, but if you don't, then people won't read it.
I see.
There's some people who won't read it until you have 100 chapters out.
Oh my God.
Because they just want to make sure that you have the commitment.
That you're really, you're not going to drop off.
A lot of people do like 5 chapters and realize how hard it is, and because they didn't have any prep work done, and that that's a huge mistake. So,
Warren, tell us about your story for Cthulhu Attacks Wonderland.
I did the art for a story called Henches, written by Peter Rosette. Henches takes place in the trench warfare that the card soldiers against the Cthulhu armies as they are attacking and destroying the Rose Gardens. These soldiers are in here, and they're trying to fight these guys off to protect the Queen's roses. And you have the Gardener cards who have been constricted into the military, and we follow the 4 of Spades as he writes a letter home to his family, and you get to catch a glimpse in this quiet moment of the traumatic stuff that they've been going through. And it shows you like this little quiet moment in the war before all the next wave of terror comes through. Mm-hmm. And it was a real fun story to figure out. I mean, it was darker tones, but it was a lot of fun. Like I did a lot of research on World War II, World War I trench war photography, and tried to capture that look of despair in the characters, and they've seen some stuff and it wasn't good.
Sure. Yeah. Watch the movie 1917.
Oh yes, that's a great movie. I love that one. Is a wonderful.
Put you in that moment for sure.
Oh, yes.
What do you want to do next, Warren?
After this, I have another anthology that I did a 5-page story for that's going to be coming out in October, and I'm going to be continue working on my own story, and I'm working on my business partner's story. I'm doing some of the gray tones for that, and I'm just going to keep putting out artwork and trying to get the name out and try to build up an audience. Right now, it's like 5 people, so working on doubling that by the end of the year.
We'll get that. We'll give you some more audience there. It'll happen. You guys have 553 backers now. You're at 30,949.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, Travis, you're up. You're our final contestant here.
I just want to say that I follow Warren's work, so I don't know who the other guy is, but F him.
It's competition.
It's Phil, isn't it? It's Phil, isn't it, Warren?
It is Phil. It is. My number one fan will always be my mom, though. So.
Yeah, all right. So I'm 3, so you're already doing well.
Phillip, we can't hear you, man. You're muted out.
I was saying goes Warren's mom, me, Travis.
Exactly.
Oh no, that was Phil Leon. Phil, you're further down. Like, so I'm so sorry.
That other Phil again. God, he's always following me.
Awkward. So
All
what do you
right,
want to ask me, Dirk? What's up?
I want to know what your origin story is. I never really got that from you last time. How did you get into comics, and what did you do before you got into doing all this?
I did it for the money. I heard that.
Oh, and the fame.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
The chicks.
Yeah, well, no, I'm happily married, so I'm good with that. I mean, she does have some superhero tattoos, so maybe like she was an early adapter before I met her.
Very nice. Well done, sir.
She's got DC sleeves on both sides. So
I like that.
I'm a Marvel guy though, so it's slightly offensive. And I'm a Pepsi guy.
Wow.
He loves Coke. I don't understand. She's madly into me, so I don't know if she's trying to convert me or I don't know.
You better watch out.
I gotta watch out. But so my origin story. So I'm from Rochester, New Hampshire, which doesn't sound relevant, but it's super relevant. So when I grew up, I'm 42 years old, going on 43 on April 14th. So when this Kickstarter ends is going to be my birthday.
Yeah.
So come celebrate that with me. So anyways, right next to that is a town called Dover, New Hampshire. Dirk, do you know why Dover, New Hampshire is important to the world of comics?
No. Wait a minute. Was there a distributor in Dover?
There was a comic company.
Okay.
Called Malibu.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Wait a minute. Malibu? Now I'm all confused. No, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are from there. So, so not Malibu. What is that? What is their original comic company? I can't think of what it's called now.
Their original comic company?
Yeah.
For Ninja. Oh, my gosh. Oh. Let me think on that. Hopefully someone out there will.
I'm really mad that I get Mirage.
Yes.
I got it. Okay.
Very good.
So growing up, so think about this. A kid growing up. All right. So I've got all that. So I'm into comics. My grandmother buys me, those magazines you got as a kid where you had to sell them to your parents and they would get a magazine? You guys remember that?
Are you talking about like from school?
Yeah, from school. You would have to bring it to your mom or grandma.
Yes.
They would buy magazines.
I loved that.
Yeah, well, in it was Spider-Man. So I feel like I'm a Spider-Man. And so I love Spider-Man. Love TMNT. It was local. So, and I grew up with Kevin Eastman, Peter Lard. Like they were local, and I saw them,
That's awesome.
as geek things. So it was pretty cool. And then we had the Tick, right? So New England owned the Tick was a huge thing.
Oh, yes.
And then come mid '90s, we had Image Comics blow the F up, which is right in my age range.
Sure.
Comic. So for me, indie comics was not like this grand thing like that you have to do to achieve. Like you just do it. You just make one and like
no big deal.
Right? Because that's all the experience that I had growing up. So when I graduated high school, I wanted to be a filmmaker.
Davey.
I was huge into Davey. He's a creator in the group.
He is?
Yeah, he's a creator in the book. Yep.
Welcome, sir. We can have you on some other time, Davey.
So when I graduated, I really wanted to go into film. Yeah, Scholastic book stuff. I wanted to go into film. I was huge into Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino, Rob Rodriguez, the typical indie film guys. So I came to Florida, started that. When I got here, I saw some people doing comics. So just again, to confirm the indie explosion, do you remember CrossGen, Dirk?
Yes, I do.
CrossGen hit big in 2002 when I came here to Orlando.
I'll be damned.
And they bought MegaCon, which is the big con here in Orlando. So
Right.
for several years, Marvel and DC wouldn't come anymore because CrossGen bought the whole thing. They sponsored it. They had the whole thing. And it was the best, by the way, just for the record, because CrossGen, they didn't charge for sketches. So imagine George Perez, Greg Land, all these great people getting sketches for free from it. It was amazing. You had to wait in line forever, but it's free sketches.
Worth it.
So I started doing some indie, some anthologies and stuff, and then I put it away to raise my daughter. I had a daughter, and I couldn't find a way to do film, to do comics, to do any of that. So I just decided to be a dad. My whole life I wanted to be a bohemian, right? I wanted to live the artist lifestyle. But, the minute I had a kid, I had a rough growing up. My parents were both drug addicts and all sorts of stuff that I don't need to go into. But I wanted to be a good dad, and it was so important to me. So I dropped everything to be a dad, and I raised her all the way up to 18. And then my wife, we were my new wife, I got married, divorced, the typical extra stuff. But my new wife saw a folder on my computer, and she's like, "What's that?" I was like, "Oh, I used to do comics." And I showed her 2 pages of a book called Broke Down in 4 Dead Bodies. And she pointed out how ridiculous it was that I do not have that out in print when I have 2
Absolutely.
done. So we contacted that original artist, and then I started doing that. And several years later, after our anniversary, after our wedding, she actually kind of helped me come up with the idea for Cthulhu Invades. She asked me, she's like, "What do you think?" Because I'm a marketer, so just so you guys know, my primary job that I started doing was marketing. I work at a web design firm, so I think with a marketing mindset first. So I do have an edge. Please don't. So she asked me, "What do you I think would do really well?" And I said, "Really, Cthulhu invading anything. Cthulhu does really good on Kickstarter." And that's where we came up with the idea for Cthulhu Invades Wizard of Oz, and then it's blown up since then.
Yeah. Davey says, glad to catch some of the gang. Very cool. I mentioned it earlier. You back a lot of Kickstarters. What you put your money where your mouth is. What inspires you to back so many independent comics?
Because I believe in it. If I'm asking them for money, I need to give them money.
Hallelujah.
I 100% believe that. If I want to be part of this community, I need to invest in this community.
Absolutely.
I believe if you don't invest in this community, you're just trying to take from the community. And I know everybody has different financial situations, so I'm not judging anybody's stuff. But if you're not willing to give $1 to another creator, a single dollar,
sure,
then you shouldn't be making this, because you're out for yourself, and that's not what it's about. That's why I did these things like Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, to help creators and get things out and get to the next level. And Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, same thing, to help people. I'm like, here are the most talented people I know. I read a lot of indie books. Let's get them together and do this next thing, and hopefully we all grow together and become the next wave of something, whatever that looks like. So that's why I do it. And a lot of people know I back physical too most of the time. So probably 8 out of 10 times it's physical. I'll back a physical book. So I'm getting books. In fact, I don't know what happened, but I brought one in here. Is this one?
You got a pile?
Yeah, I just brought 2 came in the mail today. I don't know where I put them, but yeah,
that's good.
I believe in it fully, and I believe if you're going to be part of this community, you got to invest in the community. And I totally understand financial stuff, but if you like someone and you like their work, give them $1, right? Just give them $1 if that's
support what you love.
So
because if you don't, it won't be there.
Right, exactly.
I'll also say you're into marketing, so am I. It would help if people who are creators or creative people who are interested in doing comics or whatever, if they'd share each other's stuff. Just share. Someone puts something out on Twitter or on Facebook or something. Share that. Get it out there. Help them out, because I'm amazed sometimes. You look at Facebook groups where they do one share after another in like a comic book group, and there's no likes, there's no comments, there's no shares, it's crickets in there. Everyone's sharing their own stuff, and then they go away. And it's like, why are you not supporting each other? Support each other. You're not in competition with each other. We're all we have.
Exactly.
If you're not supporting the other guys.
That's one of the things I love most about working with Travis. I don't know of anybody who supports the indie community as strongly as Travis does. The dude just is mind-bogglingly like in everybody's corner, and I really love that about him.
Since we're on the wide view here, and since we're talking about Travis, what's it like to the other panelists here? What's it like to work with Travis?
I can't hear you guys, so you're fine.
Stoney, you want to start?
Yeah. I love working with Travis. He's honest and upfront about what he needs and when he needs it, and he's understanding. And he wants to make comic books for other people. He wants to support other people, and that's what he's in it for. And that's probably the best part of working with Travis. I have felt so fortunate to be a part of this stuff and to be with him and to promote this stuff with him. It's been so much fun, and I've made so many other connections just because Travis has taken a chance on me. And I'm incredibly grateful for the experience.
Awesome, man. Phillip, you want to say a few words?
One, his attitude's phenomenal. Always optimistic. So much energy. It's really important, right? Especially, he works a 9-to-5 job. I do too. And then when he comes on and he's excited, I'm like, all right, I got to bring it to that level. And the other thing is the opportunities he creates for myself, for other creators. I mentioned earlier that I run that Facebook group. His last two Cthulhu Invades something type of Oz and now Wonderland. He's had contests, so it's giving creators opportunities to join his anthology. We had 2 winners in our most recent contest. One of them is James Ferguson, who's an up-and-coming writer. He did a lot of review for Horror DNA. This anthology now gave him an opportunity to get his work out there.
That's awesome. Warren, you want to say something?
Can I say something? Oh, not one bit. No, it's been a really amazing process, and it's amazing to watch Travis organize all of this, and it's such a huge undertaking.
It has to be massive.
Seeing that, and then not only that, the enthusiasm, the passion, bringing in not only names that people know, but also guys like myself that barely anyone knows, and giving us a chance, and I really do appreciate the chance to be on it, and it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, my hat's off, Travis. The what I couldn't even begin to fathom trying to keep all this craziness in order, but not only do that, but do it massively successful. It's hands off to you. It's a great.
Yeah, it's got to be like herding cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, 70 cats.
So Dirk, one of the things that Warren didn't tell you, so one of the things that people like about working with me, again, I'm about the community. There's so many anthologies out there, and giving back to the creators is super important to me, and making them realize that I value them. Even my wife, I almost cried today. I shouldn't be surprised, but when we funded, she wrote this nice message to the backer, to everyone. She's like, "Thank you, creators. We appreciate you guys." And it's because she does.
That's awesome.
Our family so appreciates this and our dream. But Warren did this. See this thing?
Oh,
so
that's
if you're part of my team, you get a.
That's
creator.
amazing.
Warren did that, put it on the internet, and I was just like, Warren, you now work for me. To show Warren that I appreciate him, I made sure that his name was spelled wrong because when you're starting out, you should definitely have your first credit so you know where you stand.
Oh my God!
Sure, yeah.
Right,
Just to pump the brakes a little bit, he doesn't get the big head.
Right, I saw his cockiness growing, so I needed to edge it out quicker. No.
Ouch.
It did happen, but we got Warren printed. We printed ones for him specifically to make sure that his name was right. Because if it's your first book, you need your name.
So important, man, to get that name.
You did. My hands off though, because you did it all while the campaign was going. Like the campaign was going, I did the fan art, and then I get a message from Travis like the campaign's still active, and he's like, I want to add this on here, and it was just doing all the other stuff, and you're still adding stuff on and still taking the time. It was, yeah, I deeply appreciate it. It was awesome.
Yeah, but
cool.
I love that piece. It's my favorite piece.
It's great.
And in fact, it's really funny that the piece that I chose for the new one that you guys haven't seen yet is very, very similar. It's got this there's something classic and beautiful about it. And for some reason, that's what I look for with these things. Because you ever just, as a creator, you don't know what you're looking for. But when you see it, like that's the thing. So, yeah, so we're trying to work through that and get that. And I was so happy to get Warren. And then when my friend Peter needed an artist, I was like, I know the dude. Let's get this connected. Let's have it up. Because one of the things I'll do is if I see a talent, a lot of people are like, go find an artist. Well, like Stoney said, like I'm going to use Stoney as an example. He worked for Mad Cave. Mad Cave hired somebody, and that guy's paid, and now he has published work, and he's getting other published work. He can't go to that guy who just did 5 issues with him and go, "Hey, man, I got this little small piece. You want to do it for freezies?" Right? And because I don't pay anybody till the end. So when someone comes up to me, "Hey, I need an artist," I'll happily do the work for you if you do the work and ask and show what you're going to bring to the table. And Stoney did that. The last campaign. Setting up interviews. He set up this interview, making sure that he's participating in part of the team. And that's the secret, guys, to anthologies. If you want to be asked back, just be part of the team, participate, do the stuff. Because the ones who don't, I'm not going to probably bring them around because they just want the stuff. And I'm okay with that. If that's who you are or that's all you can bring, that's fine. But I want people who want to grow with me. They're like, who want to keep going on this path. Like,
sure,
come with me. Let's go.
Yeah.
Warren, I want you to know that I had that book hanging on my wall in my living room for months and months.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Davey?
the one time he took it down in an interview, I called him out on it.
He did, yeah.
Ouch. Davey chimes in too. He says, my favorite thing about working with Travis is that he taught me that silence is also an answer. So proud to be in Cthulhu for my first comic publication. They got a lot of nice things to say about you, Travis.
Yeah, that's awesome to see, Travis.
I'm not sure Silence answer. What is he talking about? Is he did a Red Queen story and I had the Red King, and he kept asking me, "Hey, where's the Red King?" But well, I was busy doing other stuff. So it's like I just need to know where he's at. I was like, cool. So eventually he just didn't write the Red King in, and then it worked out fine.
Congratulations. Well done. Well played.
Speaking about books on the wall, is that an issue of Crimson behind you, Travis?
Yeah, so this issue right here, Crimson number 7. Here, I'll bring you guys close. That is my favorite comic book of all time. So
wow, the very one.
Yeah, Crimson number 7. That's the rarest copy that I can find. It is signed by Ramos. Yeah, it's my favorite comic book of all time. When I read it, I get really inspired. So what happens in it is the vampire. Why can't I think of his name right now? The vampire goes to. Damn it! It's right on the tip of my tongue. The vampire goes to meet these angels, and the angels are deciding whether or not he lives or dies because there's a prophecy that he's going to kill the world, and it's 7 angels. Like the 7 tribes of Israel. And each angel, some of them are like Old Testament and like want to just murder him. Some of them are New Testament and they want forgiveness. And then Lucifer shows up and casts his vote. And he decides to keep him alive because he likes the Rangers, which is just funny to me. And just it's like great. This beautiful little story that's in the middle of this big epic.
And
so I love it. Alex Eldar is his name.
And that's a cross-gen book? What is that?
That was Cliffhanger, which is an Image book. It's my favorite comic of all time. It's just my favorite.
I had the first few issues when it came out when I was a teenager. It was a really good book.
Yeah, it's. I know it's a weird one to have because I mean, Stoney's been on interviews like, I'm a deep cut Marvel DC guy. Like, I can give you deep cuts, names, appearances, dates, times like that.
Yeah.
It's so weird when people are like, what's your favorite comic? Oh, Crimson #7. What's that? This happens to be my favorite comic. I like it.
So you got on the wall. Pops Van Zandt. Hey, Pops, how you doing? He says he knows 4 of these guys. Welcome, Pops.
Does he
It's
not
good to
know
hear
Warren?
from you.
Warren's right here. Like, Warren's on his show sometimes. That's so weird that he says he doesn't know him.
And Davey says that he put that character in the shadows. He's in there.
Yeah, not in my edit, but whatever.
Whatever.
That page is cut. The story doesn't make any sense, but, I'm happy because, don't mess with me.
Travis, did you do a story for this?
I did, yeah. I do a
deal?
story for everyone. I did Red King. So I did the Red King fights the King in Yellow. So I did a big epic story. I actually paid a shit ton, I'm going to be honest. Because I got Stan Yak as the artist, he killed it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Stan Yak is so good. So Stan Yak's such a great artist, and I really wanted him for my piece. Stan Yak's in it, and it's an epic kind of anime style big battle fight, which is not
Nice.
what I like. I don't really like anime style. That's what needed to be happening here. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Because in the original book, Through the Looking Glass, when they talk about the Red King, they say if he ever opened his eyes, the universe would cease to exist. And I thought that,
Ooh.
I was like, that's dope.
That is dope.
I was like, let's play with that a little bit. So I put him against a very evil, the King in Yellow is a very evil king in, the Lovecraft mythos. He's not a Lovecraft created character, but he's in the mythos. Part of Esther and Hastur, which is one of the brothers of Cthulhu.
Right.
So, some good stuff there.
Yeah, nice.
I did deep cuts for those, like, people looking for those deep cuts. I gave it to you. There you go. Wonderland and Cthulhu mythos.
I know you're right in the middle of this. This is probably not a question you want to even get to. What is next for you after all this is done?
May is Voodoo Nations 3. June is Broke Down and Dead Bodies Trade. July is Pup Van Winkle. October is None of Your Damn Business, but it is a book. November is Holiday Spirits 2, which is that holiday book that.
Damn.
So yeah, I've got a pretty booked year, and that's not. Those are just Orange Cone stuff. That's not stuff that I am writing for other people.
You're putting out more comics than DC is. I mean, everything. If they took away Batman comics from DC, you would be beating them.
Yeah, I want to do this, Dirk. Like, this is my goal, my dream. I'm ready. I'm very close to doing it. I thought this year was going to be my year. It's probably not going to be. It's probably going to be a year or two from now. And not a negative thing. We had to shockingly buy a house, so that a lot of my money that I do to produce comics has to go to buy a house. You take $20,000 out of the budget, like, that's going to affect some comics.
That's rough. That's rough.
But this is what I want to do. So I work really hard at producing the best content I can.
So Travis, out of the books that you do that are just yours, which is your favorite, and why is it Voodoo Nations?
Why is it Voodoo? It's actually Granite State Punk.
Right, yeah, I figured out there.
However, if you, because I love you, Stoney, and I know you're a big fan, I can send you Voodoo Nations 3. I just got it finished today.
I would love that. I love that. Voodoo Nations is probably my favorite book of yours.
So I'd love to hear your feedback. But no, Granite State Punk is my favorite. It's the most personal. I think it takes the best skills that I have in Voodoo Nations and Broke Down and kind of mixes it together. And it's the first solid voice of me, right? So the voice in Broke Down and Dead Bodies, one of the mistakes I made as a rookie creator is I made it sound like Quentin Tarantino, but I did it on purpose. And I thought that was really smart because I was like, let's build them into something they like and then, show them that I'm a different writer. And if you read all of it, which I know Stoney has, you could definitely see my voice as it progresses. I build a sense of trust and then I show you my voice and how it's different. Well, I realized that I was a rookie writer, right? Like, showing that you can copy somebody else's things is what literally rookie writers do, because I back 644 books. I see it a lot. So
Sure.
Me telling them I'm smarter is not as good as showing them, hey, like, I can do this. So So that was a rookie mistake that I made. It's still a great book. I still stand by it, but I still. And then Voodoo Nations, it was very personal, and I think that because it's so personal, I sometimes get lost in like I'm okay with telling this slow, intimate story, and I don't give a fuck. And I think that's what Stoney likes about it, because all the other stuff is like, we got to get action, we got to do this. Page 5, it's very comic book formula, like, because I know all the skills I've studied for years. But Stoney, but when I do Voodoo Nation, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just telling a story. Just flip the pages, have a good time. I'm telling you a nice little story here.
Yeah. I like that. I think that like a lot of the kind of, I mean, you get that actually sometimes in independent comics, but the old Vertigo series, those weren't, those didn't move along at a breakneck pace. It was more about the characters and the storylines and it was building towards something. I like to see that. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Vertigo was my first step outside of superhero comic books. That's what I cut my teeth on, and what made me realize that comic books were
be
a
a lot
medium,
more.
not a genre, right?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, for sure.
DMZ, I know Brian Wood is a questionable character, but his DMZ, the world he built there, I don't know why no people don't talk about it more. It's just phenomenal. There was a segment, I think it was like 12 issues of just one-shots for the random characters in his world. Creators aren't bold, and he was a very bold writer.
For me, it was Matt Wagner's Grendel. That guy was doing so many crazy things. Like he would get a different artist, and he would do like all of these experiments with all these different, these artists and the way that he told the story. I mean, he was really exploring the medium. I mean, there was some comics would be like 16 panels per page, and other series would be like 1 panel per page. And, he would speed things up and slow it down. I mean, he was really experimenting on stuff. That I think that was kind of, for me, kind of like a lesson in sequential art and storytelling.
This is something else that I love about Travis, is that look at what we're doing. Like, we came here to promote a Kickstarter, and now we're just taking turns talking about what we love about comic books. He's got this infectious love for comic books, and I'm never more excited to make them than when I'm talking to Travis. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, if you ever need a coach, just call me up.
That's a superpower, man. That's a superpower.
Well, I think that everybody, when you look at the internet, everybody's so angry at comics, right? They're so angry because it's not what they wanted as a kid. And I can relate to that to a point. But if you keep digging and you stop bitching, there is some beautiful things being written, right?
So much good stuff out there right now.
Like, this is not my Cap. Blah, this is not my Spider-Man. Blah, this is not my Batman. Cool. Keep digging. Find that stuff. Maybe you'll end up reading Power Man, or maybe you'll read Saga, or you'll read like Haha, or some random thing that you never thought you'd like. But you're gonna find that love. And if you really pay attention to people, even if you love them or hate them, like a Donny Cates, who's coming up, who's like, I loved Venom too, and we're gonna love this shit together.
Right.
All this stuff. And you're like, yeah, that's what I love. And like, they love Darkhawk, right? Like, all these new writers, like, Darkhawk's awesome.
Right.
And like the old Marvel execs are like, no, he's not. And we're like, yes, he is.
For sure. I wonder what happened to Spider-Man 2099. I love that comic.
He's coming back next month.
I have heard that they got something going on there.
Yeah, next month.
Walt says, for me, it was when Marvel and Epic published Akira.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. It's hard to beat Akira. Well, look, we're here to talk about Cthulhu Invades Wonderland. You're well over 30,000. You already have a success on your hands. I want to make sure that everyone knows where to go for this. It's Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, and there's the truncated link. It's CthulhuInvades.com. Does anyone have anything else that they want to add that we haven't talked about? Something that people need to know?
We are less than $50 away from 31,000.
Yep, that's good stuff.
I actually want to talk about because they said so many good things about me. I want to say some good things about them real quick.
Great, yeah, please.
Phil has an amazing anthologies thing. He is the cornerstone. If you have an anthology, like he is the must-know guy. And I think it's so interesting that he was like, I'm not ready to take that step, so I'm just going to do this step. And then he's like, I'm going to be the king of this step. I'm not just going to be the, like I'm not just going to be the guy who's doing it. Like I'm going to be the hub of what you need, which I think is really, really cool. Stoney is so good at building relationships. Stoney has like 12 to 20 like solid relationships.
I see that.
He's all in on those guys, right?
That's
whether it be the comic burrito, whether it be you, Dirk, whether it be David Galliano. And I'm lucky to be one of those people. And that's what I love about Stoney. I'd be so proud of Villainous. I'm so upset that they made a mistake of pulling it away, because I think that they're going to regret that, because one of the things that Mad Cave does, and I'll talk shit about Mad Cave, I'll work for them. One of the bad things that Mad Cave does is it's all the one guy. It's all Jeremy London, right? Loudon. The Battle Cats, all the
Mark
stuff.
London.
Mark London. I knew it was London in there. It's all his stuff that gets sequels and very few other stuff. And I think in the long run, that's going to hurt them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Stoney, but they've put out a lot of quality books by other people, and they haven't been giving them the chance. So unless it's like a crazy success like Nottingham, it's not like Nottingham is like, you're a dumb company if you don't like do more of it. Like you don't know what the hell you're doing, And that's what I loved about Villainous. Like Villainous came out at a bad time. It was kind of in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, wow.
It was still like, I want to give it a shot because I believe in this premise and I believe in it. And I was very proud of them. And now I'm very upset with them because they made the alternate choice. But hopefully some of these things that aren't Mark London stories will get sequels, because there's some great writers. They're hiring great people. Like, let them be great. Because you know what? Stoney doing a Villainous, I'm going to use Stoney again because we're talking about him, doing a Villainous 2 is going to be so much better than 1 because he can breathe.
Yeah.
He's not trying to impress
Knows
anyone.
the characters.
Tell a story. And he's just trying to tell a story now. Before he was like, this is my first thing, and everything's going to be, he's like, no, I'm good at this. I believe I'm firm in my job. Let me do that. They're going to get better stuff if they try. The things I've heard from Nottingham is number 2 is fantastic. People who've read 7 and 8 are blown away because he feels safe. David feels safe to do that. Yeah. And Warren Brown thinks he's a rookie, but I see him hustling, man. Like late at night, if you know the proper StreamYard, it's like knowing the midnight hour. Like what was that? The Tales of the Lost Hour. Like what was that? When you're in Nickelodeon, the Tales to Tell in the Dark, right?
Tales of the Dark.
Society,
Yeah.
right.
Oh.
If you're part of the Midnight Society, you can join Warren and Phil, and Warren is just drawing away into the hours talking about comics. But Warren, one of the things you don't realize about yourself is so many people know you, like that you don't. So when you finally decide to do something, you're going to have a great support group, because so many people want to do stuff. Oh, you got Warren Brown in this? And I'm like, who Warren Brown is? And they're like, yeah, he's a 6 guy. I was like, okay, cool. And I think that's gonna make a movement, and I think that you're gonna do really good when you get to that stuff. So don't undersell yourself. This being your published work, I am so grateful to be not only your first published, because I'm your first cover too, your first cover, and then your first escutcheons. So not that the cover is seen by thousands of people, but
Thank you very much. I am really my worst critic at times, and I'm working on it, trying to build that up. But thank you very much.
Most creators are their worst critic. There's nothing you can say to a creator that they haven't already said to themselves, and keeps them up late at night. I mean, I've noticed that. Like, I watched David Finch's Monday night deal where he draws a character. That guy who's had, he's drawn the Avengers, he's drawn Batman, he's done everything, he's achieved everything you need. He halfway through the thing is not so confident about what he's producing, and it's like, you're David Finch. How could you not walk with the swagger and stuff? But even someone at that level questions themselves and always wonders whether what they're producing is up to par. So I think it's built in.
And it's funny when you get into comics, you do this a little bit because now I've got a few successful Kickstarters. Let's actually not even use me as an example. Right now, White Ash from Charlie Stigney is out. He beat our numbers in a day. The guy is beast. But his last campaign didn't do as great because it's a different story. Like, people tend to like, it's not just you, it's what you're writing, it's what's going and how it resonates. So people need to not, so you comparing yourself to somebody else is not fair, or even your story, because there's all these variables that you've got to factor in. Because the same guy can produce gold and then produce crap. Brian Michael Bendis was the hottest writer in the world. DC, huge grab to get him, and then everyone hates him when he's at DC. Like, seriously. And it's not that he's lost talent; he's still very talented. Yeah. He just does it in a Bendis way that doesn't compliment DC. Like he would, if he was still doing Marvel, he'd still be where he's at. But that's not what he wants to write. And I think that's funny that you're only as good as the product and how people view that product, and it's okay. That's okay, because if it's a story you want to tell, it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 people want to read it or 1 million people.
Yeah,
I've seen
that built-in criticism is a strange dichotomy of being a creator, because on one hand, a lot of us hate self-promotion and feel it's rough to build ourselves up and talk ourselves up and sell ourselves. But at the same time, at some point, we thought, you know what? I think I'm good enough that people want to buy my shit. People will spend money on me, right? But we're not good enough to sell ourselves. So it's a strange dichotomy for sure.
I make money on effing Substack, Stoney. I don't even know how that works. Like, they give me money.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I make a decent money on Substack, and I don't understand how it works.
My deep respect for that. That's awesome.
Like the pros have Substacks. I'm not a pro. I'm just winging it. I keep telling people this. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's very stressful.
I see a lot of Kickstarters out there that are amazing, and they do not get funded. And, I think you said something very important where, sometimes it's just the subject or the way it was presented. You can't take it personal on this stuff. You just need to find the right project and go crush that.
I mean, it could be anything. It could be your artist, offended someone 4 years ago and that you don't know about.
That's so true.
Campaign.
That's so true.
It could be. There's all these variables that come into play when you're doing these things, and that's okay, because the higher you get, the more of those variables that are going to be a problem. But what it is just telling the good story, and then you being a man of your word and supporting others. Right. I think that's the key to my success. Is I support others. And I try to enlift everybody I'm with and try to encourage them, And if you are not that type of person, I cut you out, and people know that I cut them out. There's people who try to take from our group and tries to use and do stuff, and I'm just like, no, like we're all growing together. And if you don't get that, and if it's about like your thing, like that's not going to do things, because this is my thing. I'm clear about the math of this works. It's 13,000 goes to the creators, 15,000 is printer. 2,000 is to the shipping, 3,000 is the Kickstarter. That means I'm $1,000 under before I even launch a Kickstarter. Like, it's just the way it is. It's just the math, and you can figure out the calculator. Everyone knows what they're paid. Like, they can figure it out really quick, and if it doesn't add up, then go think about Jerome. He did all your lettering. You think he did that for free?
Right.
But it's building that up and being honest and transparent, and understanding that this isn't about us making money. It's about making a comic that you can't help but buy. Cthulhu in Wonderland. If you're not interested in this concept, like, I don't know what else to sell you, because this is a cool concept.
It is.
Check out the concept, and then hopefully you find writers who you really want to resonate with, and you'll follow them to the ends of the earth. And that's what I'm hoping.
Listen to the four of you talk about your stories. All the stories were really cool. They sounded really great to me, like kind of little deeper level stuff. It sounds awesome. And if it's a full book of that, plus a bunch of different artists, which, I mean, that's the thing that I love the most, is being able to, see all these different voices and stuff all in one place. I used to always love anthology stuff. Yeah, I mean, I used to, speaking of the olden days, when I would collect stuff, I always used to really love collecting anthologies, because you get a little taste of, everyone that way. get exposed to stuff that you've never. I found so many artists and writers through that method, and you got 70 different tastes here on this project.
And everyone's bringing their A game to it too. You're getting a lot of
you can see
passion
that
in this book. Yeah,
you can see that. You think there's a little competition going on? Like maybe people are trying to up their game a little bit.
I felt there was more with Oz. We'd have some people post their finished work, and then everybody else would go, "Oh damn, I gotta up my game," right? And there was a little less of that I felt with this one, but we are very much a team. Everybody's got each other's backs and supports each other, and so less competition, I think, yeah, but definitely support.
More teamwork.
Well, one of the beautiful things about this book is, Phil's been in a lot of anthologies. Most anthologies has a theme and they all put it together. Well, this is one narrative. It's beginning, middle, and end. So in a regular anthology, what I do is I read it and go, which is the bad one, and was it mine? If I can't find the bad one, then it was probably mine. So this, because it's one narrative, I really challenge you. If you looking for the bad one, then you miss the point, because it's either good or it's bad, and I promise you it's going to be good.
Is there anything else that anyone wants to add before I start asking for promotion?
This generation of creators, you're going to see in the next few years, these creators here, these creators in the book, they're going to be at DC, they're going to be at Marvel, they're going to be at Image, Aftershock. You're going to this group of creators is very special, and they're only going to grow from here.
Would you tell them, please, Philip?
Yeah, I'm gonna fax them, write them, send them an email. I got you. I got you.
Whatever you got to do to make that happen. You can look at what's out there and listen to the stories, and you can get an idea of what's in the book, and it sounds great to me.
There is a 24-page preview, so you get 4 stories.
Oh, there you go.
Mad Hatter, White Rabbit, Duchess, and Teapots. So you get 4 stories right there that you can read the whole thing right there on the Kickstarter.
I read the last project that you had, which was in Oz, and it's great that you have these individual stories, but it's also a cohesive story. And again, you got a little poetry there. It was nicely packaged. You put out a quality product. People need to know that they're going to get their money's worth for this, for sure. And you're going to support a lot of great creators who are going to soon be working for Marvel and DC and wherever they want to work, for sure. All right, Phillip, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at the Luminardi, not that fake Luminary that has like a blog.
Here we go. I'll put that up there for you, so people don't have to.
Luminardi.
There you go.
And I talk. I'll tell stories about funny things my kids say and comics all day. I throw in some sports here and there.
And maybe some wrestling.
Yeah. I'll probably complain about a story. Absolutely.
Warren, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at LunchboxWarren. The same with Instagram, on Facebook. You put that in, you should be able to find me on there. I also have my Linktree link is through all 3 of those, and you'll be able to find my Twitch on there for streaming. And one last thing, we are now at $31,000 and $31,029 with 505 backers.
556.
Oh yeah, update. There we go, 556.
Yep,
I'm still at 555. We're fresh.
I'm at 556. $31,049.
Yep.
All right, Stoney, where can they find you?
I am Bald Bearded Bard across social media. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I post my art to ArtStation. I think that's it. Yeah, but Bald Bearded Bard, that's me.
ArtStation, what do you think about that?
I misspelled it. That's awesome.
Oh, I misspelled it. That's my doing there. Tell me about ArtStation.
ArtStation, it's for artists to post their artwork, and you got everybody from amateur comic book colorists to professional video game renderers and concept art. Magic the Gathering artists post there a lot.
Cool.
Most of my phone and computer backgrounds come from ArtStation. They're gorgeous stuff, really cool. Some great people on there. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Travis, you're up.
TravisGibb.substack.com, because I'm cool and have a Substack. But no, really, that's where
awesome.
That's where you should find me. I do a lot of posts.
He's making money over there, folks.
I do. I make.
He's a
money.
unicorn.
I'm the rare person who's making money over there. Well, writers can't have Patreons, right? What are we gonna do? Here's another script, guys.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I think it's designed for us. So what I do is if you're a paid member, you're building a comic with me. We're building a comic called The World Ended in 2012. And what it is, it's a book. It's kind of like a sci-fi book where these conspiracy theorists believe that the world ended in 2012, and they're gathered like-minded people to prove whether or not it's right or real. And I'm going to express that idea because it's an interesting theory. If you ever black hat it one day and decide to deep dive into that on YouTube, you'll find some interesting theories about why the world ended in 2012.
Interesting. Very great concept.
So, or CthulhuInvades.com is where you can find me and my best friends all writing the best book that we come out with.
Travis, you just convinced me. I might become a
he wants in.
Writer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that
You
concept.
cracked the code. I mean, you're on Substack and you're making money. It's insane.
Well, and the cool thing is too is I let them have feedback. So like they get to name like the hacker names, and then when I have the writers, I'm gonna have them. They're gonna pick the artist. They're gonna vote on the art team. Like I'm gonna say, here's the three I have in my budget. They're gonna pick the art team. They're gonna be part of it
That's
through
cool.
the whole process. I'm gonna kind of get like a producer's credit of it. And where I came up with it, how I came up with it, and see what that process is, as well as, deep dive when we get to it, because I think I'll get a lot of substance when I do the Kickstarter, how I put together a Kickstarter, how that looks like. So you're going to get a lot of training as we progress and do that.
Oh man, that is worth a subscription right there.
Yeah,
and that's not counting the behind the scenes of all the other Orange Cone stuff. I'll probably submit this Voodoo Nations up there tomorrow, and be like,
what you're doing there, is that something that most comic book writers are doing? Is that kind of the standard process, or is that something unique to you?
Everyone's doing something different. Like for instance, Scott Snyder's doing a class. Not that I'm Scott Snyder's level, but he's doing a class. Jonathan Hickman's creating a new comic book world for it. Donnie Cates is doing their comic, and they're just kind of giving you previews as they go and kind of talking to you about that process. Chip Zdarsky is doing some really cool stuff. Like he had a Daredevil meeting once, which was pretty cool. I paid for a few of them. So Chip Zdarsky had like a Charles Sauls and Ed Brubaker all talk about their Daredevil runs, which was so cool. I actually don't know why Marvel doesn't do it. Wouldn't it be really cool? Like, hey, let's talk about your runs. Like get all the Spidey runs or all the Batman runs. Let's get a few creatives. And why did you go this direction? Why did you not go in that direction? I think I would watch those shows for hours.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, each of them doing something, but I don't know of anybody who's creating a comic with their fans. I don't know anybody who's doing that.
That's
and I
unique.
don't know if anybody could really. I think that, I think I'm blessed, I only expect like 10 or so Substack people, and that's really all you want, right? You only want 10 or 12 people, in the cook room, the chef's room,
The cook room.
the kitchen.
The kitchen.
I think that's what they call it. I'm a writer, guys.
Some people could call it a kitchen.
I'm a writer.
We need Chuck to come in and edit your work.
Not everyone can write and color. I just write.
All right, let's check the thing one last time. See what we got here. There it is. 556 backers, 31,049. Not too shabby, folks. Get over there. Get over there right now, CthulhuInvades.com, and put your bid up there. There it is. All right, folks. I sure do appreciate you all joining me today and sticking around. That is awesome. You guys did the whole deal. I was going to put that. What is What is Davey doing here?
Cthulhu
Someone,
fatigue. Yeah.
someone translate this for me.
We can't. We summon in a black hole, and Cthulhu would come. Like,
He's
It's-
they don't really want us to do that.
It's going to get ugly.
It's fine.
Like, go read Warren's lunchbox cigarette guy. It's in there somewhere. It's a deep cut. Chapter 3. You gotta read it though.
One more time, thanks to everyone who chimed in tonight. Thanks to Phillip. Thanks to Warren. Thanks to Stoney. Thanks to Travis. You guys are great guests. You're welcome back here anytime for any collaborative stuff that you're doing or individual. You're all, working your asses off. So, the least I can do is help support and maybe get you a few more followers and stuff, hopefully. So thanks a lot. Oh, wait a minute. Steve says, before we wrap this up, he says, the whole group is amazing. Their enthusiasm for their work is palpable. Well done, gents. I look forward to the books.
Thank you. Thank you for having us too, by the way.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Absolutely. This is what I created this thing for, is to talk about comics and get this stuff out to hopefully a wider audience. And I hope that happens, because this is definitely you guys are awesome and the project is awesome. So that's it, folks. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to us. Thanks once again to the 4 of you. We appreciate it. And until next time, this is Dirk Hooper saying, dream hard.